Hi there, in this video I'm going to show you how to create this plot in R. This is a plot of all the lampposts in Utrecht. Utrecht is a city in the Netherlands, and it looks really cool. It looks like the city is lit up at night, but if you zoom in you'll see it's actually every single lamppost individually plotted, and there's this cool little halo effect, so it looks like the city is being lit up at night. It's a really nice plot. So where I came across this was here on Twitter from Eric Jan, and he posts all the lampposts in Utrecht using Rstats and ggplot2. Full resolution image and code is in the GitHub link, which will also be below, and he's done this in only 14 lines of code, which is quite impressive. So there's the image. Alright, so let's have a look at it. So here's the code. It is indeed just 14 lines, and that includes these white space lines. So we'll start off with loading up the tidyverse. Then we'll download the data. There we go, that's done. It took a little while, so I'll edit out that wait from this video. You can see it's downloaded almost 60,000 observations of 9 variables, so that's almost 60,000 rows. So that's really cool. Let's have a look at this data. So you've got this for each pole, the longitude and latitude, the street name where it is, the pole number, the pole type. This must be who manages it. This is which region of the city, I suppose. And then there's this X and Y coordinate that I'm not too sure what this is referencing. I've not actually seen that before. However, it's only the longitude and latitude that's important here. So looking more closely at his code, let's take it line by line. So it takes this lights.dat, which by the way, this is an open data platform. And you can go and have a look at this this platform here for more cool data sets. Right, so it takes the lights data. Then this is interesting. He filtered by latitude, where latitude is larger than 50. At first I found that a little bit peculiar. But if we go have a look at the data, you'll see why. Let me sort this by from smallest to largest. And this shows you why. There's a whole lot of entries here where the latitude and longitude is 0. So this must be missing entries. As you can see, there's a couple of them. It goes all the way through, and then it's up here until about the 185th entry. So it's not a lot, it's only 180 or so of 60,000. It's not too bad. And I saw that that's just a really easy way for him to just filter out those missing values. Right, then he loads up ggplot and sets the X and Y aesthetics to the longitude and latitude. Then this is a really clever part. He plots the G on points, but he plots 2 on top of each other. See, and then each has a different alpha, so a different transparency, and a different size. And that's what gives this really nice halo effect. So you've got the smaller one in the middle that's less transparent, and the larger one around the outside, which is more transparent. So what he's done here is, this is a larger outside halo with a size of 1.6 and an alpha of just 0.03. That means it's very transparent. And then inside he's got this smaller point that's just a size of 0.2 and a transparency of 0.8. And he's given them each the same color. This is sort of a yellowish color. The stroke, he's put here a 0. I suspect you could just leave this out, but sometimes it is better just to be more explicit than implicit. Strokes usually got to do with things like the width of a path or line that you're drawing somewhere, but these are just points. Although I suppose a stroke might affect that, I'm not too sure. This I had to Google, this PCH. This actually comes from base R. That's why I didn't recognize it, because I'm only used to working with the tidyverse so far. PCH is equivalent to the shape argument in ggplot2, and this 21 corresponds to the circle. That's a little circle shape. So this is simply just drawing 2 circles on top of each other, each slightly different, and that's what gives it quite a that nice little halo effect. Coord map, I'll talk about that in a second, but that basically maps latitude and longitude points that are taken from a sphere onto a 2D plane, which is the image that we're looking at. At first I was wondering, why is it so important to do this? and I'll actually show you in a moment. Then he calls theme void. This basically strips out all the extra information from the plot, from the geom point plot, or any plot that you call it on. So it takes out all the grids, any borders, etc. Everything that's else that's there. It just basically strips it out, and that's what leaves you with this nice clean background. Then when he saves it, he gives it, I've added this, just that file path, but he saves it as a name. Then he adds a black background, because this actually just comes out as white if you do it. This actually just comes out as white if you plot it directly like this. And then he sets the width and the height of the image and the resolution. You could go and make this, add the black background within here, so I'm not too sure why he hasn't done that. Within your plot you could just do that. I did play around with it, adding it in another place, but I thought I'd just leave this true to how he's done this. So it's really as easy as that. It's a neat little bit of code, and I can see it'll be quite fun to do this for other cities where you can get similar data. I think what does really help as well in keeping this so nice and succinct is the data itself is just already tidy and just very well presented. So that really helps a lot. And that's where open data, well curated open data, can just be so handy for people to do amazing things. Now let's get back to this coord map. Earlier made two plots, one with coord map and one without it, and I'll show you what the difference looks like. Alright, so let me take you back for a second. This was the original. This is how it was with the coord map included, and you see that's what looks so nice. But when you have it without coord map, you see how it looks all stretched out. So this is the importance of using the coord map to convert the longitude and latitude points that are actually recorded on a spherical surface, which is the surface of the Earth, to convert it into a flat image without it looking odd. So this is where the projection now suddenly looks much more like you would expect just by viewing it with your eye. So I hope you found that interesting, and yeah, it's just a fun little project to look at. Cheers.